Hello, and welcome to this Panzura demo. This is Brian Wink, and I'll be your host today. In this demo, I will show you Panzura's global file system. We call it CloudFS. I will be showing you our ability to provide a single file system across multiple locations, all while depositing the data into an authoritative object store where data protection policies can be applied to it. Specifically, in this example, as represented by this diagram, we have two locations, Los Angeles and New York, and we are using a public object store as our authoritative storage. In the demo, you will be able to clearly recognize the Los Angeles location as a Windows XP client with a green background. The New York location is also a Windows XP client, this time with a blue background. For most of this demo, you will see these machines running side by side, as in this picture. Each desktop will show you up to 3 elements. Element 1 is the Panzura web-based GUI, running in the IE browser. The GUI is showing the main Panzura dashboard page. This dashboard shows you what the Panzura Cloud Controller in each location is doing. The key elements of the dashboard to notice are the line graph in the upper left, where you will see a blue line representing the data going into the Cloud Controller, and a red line representing the data going out of the Cloud Controller. For this demo, we will be writing data to the LA machine with the green background, and reading it from the New York machine with the blue background. As a result, on the LA machine, you will see a blue line in the graph representing the file data that the Windows XP client is sending to the Cloud Controller. The red line in the graph will represent what the Cloud Controller is sending, in the form of objects, to the authoritative object store. In the blue backgrounded New York machine, you will see the blue line representing what the New York Cloud Controller is ingesting, in the form of objects, from the authoritative object store. The other elements of the XP machines are the Windows Explorer windows, where we will be doing the copying and viewing of the data. With that, let's do a quick review. Again, we have 2 locations, Los Angeles and New York. Each location has a Windows XP client along with a Panzura Cloud Controller. Each location is using the object store as the primary repository of the authoritative data. Now, let's get to the demo. As the demo starts, please note that the storage statistics are in sync between the 2 cloud controllers. Next, let's map a drive to each of the cloud controllers. I will choose P as the drive letter and map directly to each machine by its unique name and their respective root shares, named CloudFS. You will notice that I am prompted to enter my user credentials in order to access the CIF shares. The Panzura Cloud Controllers join the Active Directory as servers and respect user and group permissions. To end users, they look just like a Windows NAS server. Now that both machines have a P drive mapped, let's create a working directory for this test. Notice that as a directory is created on the LA Cloud Controller, the New York Cloud Controller automatically sees it and has access to it, as if they were functioning as a single machine. Now for the real fun. I'll select an arbitrary set of files and drag and drop them into the working directory on the LA Cloud Controller. We will watch them by noticing the line graphs in the Panzura GUI dashboard, upload to the LA Cloud Controller, at the same time upload to the authoritative object store, and ultimately synchronize to the New York Cloud Controller. While the transfer is underway, I'll display the overview diagram again as a visual aid to remind everyone of the architecture I am working with. While we are waiting for the transfer to complete, I'd like to take a second and remind you that the Panzura CloudFS global file system does all of its synchronization via the authoritative object store. Therefore, all data is always protected by the policies established on the object store. In addition, for protection, the data that we are sending and storing within the object store is also fully encrypted with the AES 256 CBC standard, and Panzura is currently working towards FIPS certification. Now that the transfer has completed, let's do some investigation. First, let's get a better picture of the Panzura GUI dashboards. I'll force them to refresh their data immediately so that we can see the active line graphs. Let me refresh the Windows Explorer view of the working directory on the New York XP machine to show all of the files we transferred, including their sizes. Now that both of the dashboards have been refreshed, I'll review what we have done. First, notice that the storage statistics are in sync across the two cloud controllers, indicating that the global file system is in sync. Next, let's inspect the line graphs. Here on the LA Cloud Controller, we have the blue line, representing where the XP client was writing data to the CloudFS file system. We also have the red line, indicating where the cloud controller sent the data to the authoritative object store. Notice that the machine sends as much as it can while it is receiving data. It does not need to wait until the entire job is done. This is done to make sure the data gets to the object store as soon as possible, where it is protected by policy, and so that other cloud controllers subscribing to the CloudFS, like the New York Cloud Controller in our example, can start to synchronize the data and represent it to its users. Notice the blue line in the New York Cloud Controller's dashboard. This is where it ingested the data from the authoritative object store. Again, it does this as soon as data is present. Let's take a final second to review what we have done. We have copied data from a Windows XP machine in Los Angeles to a Panzura Cloud Controller in Los Angeles. That data was encrypted and sent to an authoritative object store, where it can be protected by policy. From there, it was synchronized into another Panzura Cloud Controller in New York, where Windows XP machines can efficiently access and use it as if it were local data. The end users are none the wiser. They think they are interacting with any other CIFS NAS device. There is no need to change their workflows or application. It is business as usual, but with all of the benefits of a centralized object store. Thank you for your time today. This has been Brian Wink with Panzura.